On Monday, natural gas is trying to settle above the $2.30 level as bulls hope for stronger demand after the recent changes in weather forecasts. The 50-day moving average above will be potential resistance, and then after that, we have the $3 level, which of course will offer some resistance as well. Meteorologists projected the weather would remain mostly warmer than normal from May 14 to 18 and is expected to return to near normal levels from May 16 to 22 for very light national demand. Nevertheless, the latest forecast added a few more total degree days from May 17 to 21. U.S. energy firms cut the most oil and natural gas rigs in a week since February, energy services firm Baker Hughes Company said in its closely followed report on Friday. The oil and gas rig count, an early indicator of future output, fell by 7 to 748 in the week of May 5. U.S. oil and gas production grew rapidly in the first 2 months of 2023, a delayed response to the high prices and upturn in drilling. But growth is set to decelerate sharply as the more recent slump in prices curtails new drilling and well completions, with the impact evident by the fourth quarter of 2023. This week, Chesapeake Energy Corporation and 2 more companies said they could delay some well completions or ramp down drilling due to weak prices. Now, there is some positive news for those who have been eagerly waiting for a hot summer. Following closely after the official end of the triple-dip La Niña in early March, the world's oceans began setting new heat records on a near-daily basis. By the end of March, the average sea surface temperature climbed to above 21 degrees centigrade for the first time since record-keeping began, reaching a new high of 21.1 degrees centigrade in the first 5 days of April. This beat out the previous record of 21 degrees centigrade, set back in March 2016. Early 2023 sea surface temperatures are now hotter than anything we have seen in the previous 42 years. If the current ENSO-neutral conditions continue, the oceans are warm enough that more daily heat records will likely be broken throughout the rest of the year. And even with only 3 full months of data so far, forecasters are already over 60% sure that 2023 will rank among the top 2 hottest years, and over 50% sure that the year will rank as the hottest on record. Ocean heat is already at record levels now that La Niña has ended. That alone could provide 2023 with the potential to become a record-breaking year for global temperatures. Depending on how quickly the coming El Niño develops and how strong it becomes, by the end of December 2023, temperatures could easily surpass all other years we have seen so far. Based on the pattern that has played out in the past, especially in 2015 and 2016, next year will likely be even hotter.
The planet is gearing up for its 3rd consecutive La Niña this winter, an occurrence that has only happened twice since the 1950s. Many are wondering what this triple-dip La Niña means in a warming world. But before we get into that, let's go over some basics first. The El Niño Southern Oscillation, ENSO, is a recurring climate pattern that has 3 phases: El Niño, neutral, and La Niña. In a neutral phase, the winds over the equatorial Pacific Ocean blow from east to west. Warm waters pile up in the west, which causes cold waters to well up along the coast of South America. During El Niño, the west-blowing winds weaken and allow the warm water to travel back towards the east, bringing a shift in weather patterns along with it. During La Niña, the normal east-to-west winds intensify, pushing the warm surface waters even more strongly towards the west and causing even more cold water to well up from deeper in the ocean in the east.
The whole cycle for this phenomenon is about 3 to 7 years. It varies, but around that range, so it's quite rare to stay in one state for this long.
Since the planet keeps getting hotter with each passing year, many are wondering, is climate change playing a role?
That's a tough question. I think there's a lot of debate still, and what climate change could do to this phenomenon that we call El Niño Southern Oscillation. I've seen studies that say that an onset of a La Niña could be more abrupt in the future, and then they could persist for longer, they could be more intense, but we don't really know for sure right now what climate change is doing or will do to this phenomenon in particular.
There are several reasons it is challenging for scientists to pinpoint the exact effects climate change is having on El Niño and La Niña. There are limited historical data records for El Niño and La Niña, which makes it challenging to evaluate long-term trends. It is also difficult for computer models to separate the naturally occurring rise in sea surface temperatures during El Niño from the warming that has occurred due to climate change.
One thing that I think that we know for sure is that La Niña and El Niño, they all create extreme events elsewhere. And we know that climate change will impact extreme events. So what will happen in the future likely is that you're going to have a drought because of ENSO, or a flood because of La Niña, and that event is going to be slightly worse because of climate change, right? Or what it would have been without climate change.
ENSO is Earth's strongest year-to-year climate fluctuation that has far-reaching impacts on the global economy and millions of people.
A lot of industry and human activities depend on weather conditions. So society would have to adapt to harsher conditions lasting for longer than you would want. The big things are food, water, and energy, right? If you don't have water, for example, I'm from Brazil. 70% of the electricity comes from hydropower. So if it doesn't rain, it will affect the energy production.
While the consensus is currently unclear about the relationship between ENSO and climate change, one sentiment is certain. This rare occurrence will be a key source of data that will be closely studied by scientists.